Peace. What's going on? Patrick, ConservativeRap. And let's take a look at the political and economic reality of what we're facing, the socio-financial direction of America currently, because it's fascinating what's happening, and it's important we stay aware on all fronts, not just the immigration issues, not just the crime, but also the economic servitude of the populace. The deep state's panicking. Energy pricing is going to counteract the plan the feds have to maybe do a fractional percentage rate drop, maybe like 0.25%. And the central bank needs to fight back with some type of attack, which is why you're hearing all of these kind of pop-up news stories about cyber attacks globally. The cyber attack won't work. Let's take a look at truth with Donald J. Trump to start out, and you'll get some examples of what we're driving at. Prices are way down in the USA with virtually no inflation. With the exception of ridiculous, corrupt politician-approved windmills, which are killing every state and country that uses them, energy prices are falling big time. Gasoline is at a many-year low. All of this despite magnificent tariffs, which are bringing trillions of dollars from countries that took total advantage of us for decades and are making America strong and respected again. Moving on. What few people understand is that we do very little business with India on the trade tariff front, but they do a tremendous amount of business with us. In other words, they sell us massive amounts of goods, their biggest quote-unquote client, but we sell them very little. Until now, a totally one-sided relationship, and it has been for many decades. The reason is that India has charged us until now with such high tariffs, the most of any country, that our businesses are unable to sell into India, and it's been a totally one-sided disaster. Also, India buys most of its oil and refinery and military products from Russia, very little from the US. They now have offered to cut their tariffs to nothing, but it's getting late. They should have done so years ago. Just some simple facts for people to ponder. Rapid Response put this out on X. Similarly, in terms of the Lisa Cook issue and the Fed. Delta Sigma Theta Sorority Incorporated stands with Dr. Lisa Cook. Dr. Lisa Cook was vetted, confirmed as uniquely qualified to serve as Federal Reserve. Undermining her role is not just about one individual. It's a threat to independence of the Federal Reserve and carries grave economic implications for families and communities. We see a troubling pattern of BS. Who else was in Delta Sigma Theta? Total conflict of interest. The judge must recuse herself immediately. And he's 100% right. How you have the judge presiding over the issue, also a sorority member of the same person, is asinine to me. Now let's move on to Newsmax. Trump may declare national housing emergency this fall, and I love this. Let's check this out for a quick listen.
Afternoon, Bianca, and Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent sharing this with one journalist. We've reached out to the Housing and Urban Development Department as well as Treasury for further details. But what we're hearing, according to this new article, is that President Donald Trump could declare a national housing emergency, and to tackle the rising costs and the supply issues, that strain being felt by so many Americans far and wide, and that it particularly ballooned during the pandemic. Now, taking a look at this story, quote, the Trump administration hopes to make affordability a critical leg of Republicans' 2026 midterm election platform. And Bessent told the Washington Examiner that housing will be a core focus of that push in the months to come. Now, we're learning more that there could potentially be construction costs that are entailed that are exempt from the tariffs, but Bessent declining to go into further detail about the list of specific policy proposals that could be changed in the coming months.
And there you have it. Remember, it's a tactical war. It's like a chess game with these people. Treasury Scott Bessent told Washington Examiner Monday that he might declare a national housing emergency this fall to address rising prices and dwindling supply. It would be the first national housing emergency since the Great Recession, when the housing bubble burst as President Barack Obama was preparing to take over the White House from former President George W. Bush. Since taking office, Trump has declared 9 national emergencies: immigration, trade, and in August added an emergency targeting violent crime in Washington. Now his administration is signaling that housing could be next. Remember, it's a war. As Trump makes moves and the Patriots make moves to alleviate their system, they fight back. And Trump has to elevate and predict and draw them out each step of the way. So this is on deck to occur if the Fed doesn't cut the rates, or if they do some nominal, 0.25% cut and then say, oh, hey, we cut the rate, so what's the problem? It's a fantastic dynamic happening. Remember, Trump makes decisions on tariffs. The president does, not judges. That's not how the system works. The deep state is desperate. Desperate people do desperate things. And get ready. Buckle your seatbelt, because this next year and a half is going to be amazing. What do you think? Feel free to like, comment, subscribe, share, and check me out at ConservativeRap.com for more. Thanks and take care.